The Eastern Conference Finals are set, and we have the 1-seeded Boston Celtics facing the 6-seeded Indiana Pacers. And before I even get into like my preview and prediction, I want to say I don't really understand the hate for the series. I mean, I understand it, but at the same time, I don't. Because I know a lot of people are saying they would rather see the Knicks play the Celtics. But in all honesty, I would much rather see the Indiana Pacers match up against the Boston Celtics than a Knicks team that is banged up and hobbled and would have been missing their best player in Jalen Brunson, given he did fracture his hand in Game 7. And also, I understand, but I don't. I understand, the take that both these teams have had a cakewalk to the Eastern Conference Finals. They got extremely lucky. And I believe some of that is true, but I'm not going to hold that against them. In the NBA, at this time of year, it's the most healthy team is going to win. And that's been evident in the Eastern Conference. The Milwaukee Bucks were missing Giannis and Dame got banged up during the series. The Knicks were dropping like flies. For the Boston Celtics, it was Jimmy Butler wasn't there for the Miami Heat, and the Cavs were missing Donovan Mitchell for the tail end of that series. And it's like, I'm not going to hold that against the Celtics or the Pacers, because at the end of the day, all these teams play around the same number of games. And I'm not gonna bang on a team because they've afforded themselves the luxury of being able to stay healthy and rest their guys, like the team like the Boston Celtics has done. And even the Boston Celtics are dealing with injury issues. Kristaps Porzingis missed the entire Cavs series, and he's likely gonna miss the start and hopefully not the whole Eastern Conference Finals. And then you have the Indiana Pacers, who, in my opinion, I just see a young team that is just extremely healthy. And that has been lucky with the fact they have yet to have a major injury and a major blow to this team. I mean, and even for them, at the beginning of the Milwaukee Bucks series, Tyrese was banged up and he wasn't looking like himself. Now he's got a chance to get healthy and he looks phenomenal. He looks like the Tyrese we all know and love, and that people were saying may be the best point guard in the league after they won the in-season tournament and kind of put themselves on notice, put themselves on the map. So I personally think this is going to be a lot better series than people think. There are a lot of people out there that are just thinking the Boston Celtics are going to sweep or gentlemen sweep this Indiana Pacers team, and I am not under that impression. Even though I do pick the Celtics in 7, I think the Pacers really do have a chance to win this series, and mainly because of their offense. Now, I know one of the strengths of the Boston Celtics is their defense, and I feel like their defense does match up really well against this Indiana Pacers team. At the same time, when you're a Pacers team that is as fast and as fluid and is really good with ball movement and is high pace, you're going to get any defense scrambling. You're going to get any defense sometimes, missing a man. You're going to have open people. No matter what defense you're playing, they're going to be able to get their buckets, because a lot of times they get them in transition. They're able to get up and set their offense before the defense has a chance to set up their defense. Like, one of the things that I love that the Pacers do is that, let's say after you score a bucket, they're getting down court as quickly as possible. Like they did a few times in Game 7 where the Knicks got a good bucket. Tyrese got the inbound, threw it down to Pascal Siakam, and now he has the mismatch because the first person down there is a guard, and Pascal Siakam is about 6'8", 6'9", well over 200 pounds, and he's going to get a bucket 9 times out of 10 on a smaller defender. Combining this Pacers offense with the fact that they are extremely deep. One thing that I think we all underestimate about the Pacers is their depth. I mean, guys like TJ McConnell and even Ian Jackson in limited minutes have been giving this Pacers team an explosive boost off the bench. And I hope they're able to keep this up in the Boston Celtics series, because they're going to need it. They're going to need that bench to be just as good as they were in the Knicks series to even have a chance in this series. Now, the main reason as to why I picked the Celtics is, one, I don't see anybody on the Pacers that realistically can guard Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. I see people who can just be bodies in front of them, but no one who can really stop them. And for the Celtics, and specifically for Jason Tatum, you cannot keep settling for these jump shots, especially in a series like this. Like I said, there is few people on the Pacers that I personally think can stay in front of Jason Tatum when he gets downhill. Stay in front of Jaylen Brown when they get downhill. You're going to be doing the Pacers favor by settling for these threes and jump shots. Not saying you can't take them, but I want you to get downhill. Like, who on the Pacers is really guarding Jason Tatum? Pascal Siakam, maybe. That's a pretty good matchup, but at the same time, I don't see them doing that because Pascal means so much to them offensively that you don't want him to tire himself out running around and guarding Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown for 38 minutes. Aaron Nesmith, Andrew Nembhard, those are good defenders, but I don't think they, first of all, had the size or are just playing good enough to stop people like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown when they're getting downhill, when they're being aggressive. I need Jason Tatum to have Jason Tatum games of the series. One, because that's what it's going to take to really put this team away. Because the thing about the Pacers is, if you don't put them away, especially early, they always have a chance to come back given how explosive this offense is, how quickly they can score points, how quickly they can put up threes, how they generate open shots no matter what defense they're playing. I need Jason Tatum to be aggressive. And one, I need to see him be aggressive in this series so I can have faith in the Celtics in a finals matchup. Because let's be honest, the West is a gauntlet. So whoever comes out of that Western Conference is going to be battle tested and is going to be ready. And for the Boston Celtics to have a chance in that series, Jason Tatum is going to have to be ultra aggressive and show why he's a top 10, maybe top 5 player in this league. Not saying that he hasn't really played good in this playoff run, but he hasn't been the Jason Tatum that we know, love, and the Jason Tatum really that we want to see. And also another reason I'm going to pick the Celtics is their switchability. They have a lot of really good defenders that will be able to switch and hold their own. I mean, they had the guards to throw at Tyrese with, Derek White and Drew Holiday. And then you look at Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and those two guys themselves are really good defenders when they want to, and they can switch on to Tyrese, they can switch on to Pascal, and really hold their own and play really good defense. Now, one thing that I do think may hurt the Celtics, especially early in the series, is the absence of Kristaps Porzingis, and that's going to benefit the Pacers because that's less rim protection. You can get downhill. You can attack Al Horford and put him in foul trouble. Yes, Luke Kornet has been really, really good for the Celtics all year round when it comes to being a backup big and being very serviceable, but I will much rather be playing Luke Kornet than playing Kristaps Porzingis. That's just how it is. And if you're able to attack and get Al Horford in foul trouble and really, use Kristaps not being there to your advantage, the Pacers can make this really, really interesting. But I personally just think the Celtics pedigree, the fact they've been there before, will help them edge out a victory in this series. Now, I very well could see the Celtics win this like in 5, maybe even 4 games. But with how inconsistent the Celtics have been and the fact that I don't fully trust them, I can see the Pacers making this a series, and mainly because when the Pacers get hot, they get hot. And I feel like they're going to win their home games. The Pacers are a team that play much better at home. I mean, role players play better at home, and they're a young team. Of course, they're going to come out with a little more veracity and a more aggression when they're at home because that's where they're comfortable at. Like, that's why that Game 7 against the Knicks was so surprising, because all series we've seen this with the Pacers. They played against the Knicks. They played much better at home. They shot the ball much better at home. Then Game 7 in the Garden, they shoot like 69% from the field for the whole game. I remember I was watching the game. It was just like every single shot the Pacers were taking, they were making. It didn't matter what the Knicks did. Like, that performance is historic, is legendary, and should be talked about for years to come, because we're probably not going to see something like that again happen for a long, long time. Even in this NBA that a lot of people say they don't play defense. In the playoffs, it's rare you get a team to shoot that well from the field. Like, that was just crazy for me. And then for the Boston Celtics, there is so much pressure on the Celtics. I mean, I know I addressed the cakewalk allegations earlier, but for the Celtics, everything is shaping up for you to walk to the Eastern Conference Finals. Like I said, in the first round, you played a Miami Heat team where even if they had Jimmy Butler, I don't think they give you much of a run for your money. I just don't think that's a really good team, and the Heat have a lot of things they need to address this offseason. Then the second round, you play a Cavs team where, yes, Donovan Mitchell got hurt for the tail end of that series, but even when Donovan Mitchell was playing, it was like Darius Garland wasn't playing like the number 2 they need him to play. Like, Jarrett Allen missed a lot of time. I didn't even mention that before, and that really does affect how the Cavs play. And then your matchup with a 6 seed, and even if the 6 seed had beaten the people they've beaten, you're the 1 seed. You are supposed to win this. Everything is built for the Celtics to go to the finals. And this is also like the best Celtics team we've seen in a long time. But the reason I see this going 7 and not ending a lot sooner is because we've seen the Celtics play with their food. This Pacers team is better than the Cavs team in that if you let this team hit a few shots, get comfortable, feel like they belong, it's dangerous. When this Pacers team plays with confidence and plays with swag, they believe they can beat anybody in the league, and that is possible. That's possible when you make any team feel like, you know, they the shit. You cannot let this Pacers team get comfortable and get confidence and feel good about themselves. You have to stomp them out early. What did Josh Hart say about TJ McConnell? You got to put them down. If you don't put them down, they're going to keep fighting. They're always going to have a chance with how good this offense is if they keep it within a certain amount of points heading into the fourth quarter, heading to the final 10 minutes. They can explode. It's possible. The same way the Boston Celtics can is the same way the Indiana Pacers can. But all in all, I got Boston win this series in like 6-7 games. You know, I'm honestly going to be rooting for the Pacers because I love a good underdog story. I love a good Cinderella. And honestly, when the Celtics loses, it's just funny. Like, let's just call a spade a spade. It's funny. We all rooting on the Celtics downfall.